Hey everyone, in this video I'll be ranking the top 5 best sniper rifles in Borderlands 4. Sniper rifles have some pretty unique effects among them, so we'll be breaking out all of that in this video, starting with some honorable mentions. And one thing I do want to mention at the start of this video is Bloodshot Vex works a little differently with snipers, so if you're playing as her, she benefits from having low damage, high fire rate snipers. So if you guys want to see a video for Bloodshot Vex, please let me know, but this is going to be considering all Vault Hunters outside of that setup that's using her health for damage. We're talking about the guns themselves. So for our first batch of honorable mentions, the Hemorrhage. This one's actually interesting because you shoot blood as the weapon. It's going to increase the damage dealt when you're at long ranges. With Subjugator and Thole the Invincible, it is really hard to get the 175% damage boost from having that far range going, but this is still a pretty solid weapon because it can come with Jacobs and Ripper parts. We also have the Conflux, which is a pearlescent weapon here, getting 100% increased damage per status effect on the target. If you have friends, this is an amazing one. It also pairs with some grenades like the Waterfall if you have the Alchemic, which gives additional status effects on the enemy. This can be pretty good. There's also Specialization, Contamination, that'll actually increase the status effects. It can come with Jacobs, and it can also come with multiple elemental damage types because it's Maliwan, so you can swap between them, and it also has the Pearlescent Override. Now, the Affinity XXXL, I know a lot of people really love this sniper, but it has a few downsides to it, and this is really a gun that's best used on Bloodshot Vex. And also the Midnight Defiance. This is actually a really good sniper rifle. Snipers across the board are pretty solid here. This one with a shotgun loader and Jacobs is a beast. So here is the Midnight Defiance in the shotgun mode. You can see it's actually pretty solid. This works like a kind of like the BOD. It shoots very fast, pretty solid damage. This was a close consideration for the top of the list, but it is an honorable mention. Now, it's probably one of the higher honorable mentions. Here is the Hemorrhage. The further away you are, the more damage you're going to do. Now, it does cap out at a certain range with 175% damage, but the problem is most arenas in this game are a little bit too small to get the most out of this. Hopefully the takedown next week will change that. Here's the Conflux. This really does benefit from having multiple statuses on the enemy, so it's something you'd want to build around, but it is a solid weapon nonetheless. And here is the Affinity XXXL, 19 shots, and then it's going to start overheating. When it's overheating, it doesn't take any ammunition, but it will end up overheating like that. It does have downsides, and it's only locked to fire. And I also want to mention the Rooker. This one is pretty interesting. It has an underbarrel that does a lot of damage on enemies, and it has some janky interactions. They did nerf a lot of them, and there's some other ones that did pop up with like gloam to glow cash. Basically with this, you want to shoot the underbarrel here. It's reminiscent of Michael Rooker and Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. Love it, but you can see here, it's an order gun. The order damage from this full charge is nothing to write home about, so it's an okay weapon, and honestly a pretty decent one. All these honorable mentions are really good. The Midnight Defiance is probably the strongest among the honorable mentions. And for 5th place, we actually have a tie. There's two big downsides to both these sniper rifles. The Borstel Ballista. Now, this one is really good because it can split off to like 33 extra projectiles, which is amazing, but it comes stock with a COV magazine, so it only has 5 shots before reloading. Not a huge deal as it's pretty quick. The problem, however, is you have to use this at a very long range. For example, you can see where the bullets start to split at a large range here. So against Subjugator and Thole the Invincible, you're not getting those bullets to spread off like that. Hopefully the takedowns of future bosses have larger arenas, then this gun can shine again. But this is one thing that a gun I really do like, and it's actually powerful on Bloodshot Vex as well, but it does have its downsides. So that's why it's going to be a tie for 5th place with the Rainmaker. The downside to this one is it has a large magazine of 30, but you chew through your ammunition so quickly because it is a very fast firing gun. You have to be like Harlow with her ability to generate ammo to actually use this to its full potential, but you can actually get Torg and Ripper, and it's actually Ripper and Jacobs on it. So this is a very powerful weapon. So here's the Borstel. You really have to be far away to get the most out of this. As you can see there, we're actually getting multiple of the projectiles to hit, but if it splits before that, like let's say we're at a closer range, it doesn't really do as much damage. So it does have some downsides to it that it's a little bit more difficult to use, and every 5 shots you're going to have that happen there. So it is strong, don't get me wrong, but that's why it's not higher up on this list. You really have to be far away from your target to get the most out of it. And with the Rainmaker here, you're going to see this thing is actually shredding through health bars, and the Torg on it's obviously really nice. You can also, I don't have the enhancement on it, but if you have the Torg enhancement on it, just further boosts up the damage like quite a bit. But again, it chews through your ammo unless you're using an infinite ammo build, so both of these have a pretty large drawback to them, and that's why it's a tie for 5th place. But across the board, both of these are pretty solid, just depends on your overall spec and what you want out of your sniper rifles. So yeah, that's why they're not any higher on this list, but they are both very solid weapons here. And you can can see sometimes you're not going to get a whole lot of damage off from the Borstal here, especially at closer ranges, so you really have to just stick away from the bosses. And there's a lot of them that just chase you. Against Bloom Reaper, it's alright, but yeah, you see it there. You don't get the most out of it unless you're actually able to get multiple of the projectiles to hit, so... And for fourth place, unfortunately I'm putting two of them in the same category. However, there's a reason for it. These guns are pretty much the same between the Boom Slang and the Looming Truck here. Both of them with the shotgun and Torg Loader with Jacobs are going to be extremely comparable between each other. The Boom Slang has a special ability, the Bullet Pollinator. After reloading, critical hit ricochets a sticky projectile to 3 nearby enemies. They both feature 10 rounds in the magazine. The Looming Truck does have a bit higher sniper critical hit damage with 146 there versus the Boom Slang's 108. But you can see here, they're relatively the same in the terms of the damage output that they can do. So that's, I'll let you guess which is which. So yeah, you can see here, we're actually getting pretty large chunks. One of them is slightly better, but if you do get one over the other, not a huge deal. The Boom Slang's better if you don't have like infinite ammo, because when you reload, you're going to get extra projectiles that come off of it. The truck hits harder because those crits are just so much more devastating. So yeah, between the two of these, you want to run them both in their shotgun version. It's kind of funny. Pretty much every gun in this game wants to be a shotgun, and shotguns want to be SMGs. It's weird, but yeah, you can see here, it's actually kind of hard to tell which is which just because the damage between both of these is pretty near identical. The truck will hit slightly harder, but the Boom Slang will have that extra effect if you're reloading. So yeah, between the two of these, it's actually really tough. They're both very similar in their damage output. So yeah, I didn't feel good having both of these at like a separate list on this tier list, or on this top 5, so that's why we have both of them here. If you were to farm one of them, go with the truck. It's just a little bit better. And in third place, we have another sniper rifle that has 10 rounds in its magazine, Torglice's magazine, and shotgun loader is its best possible role, and as a Jacobs, the Fear Stalker. This was added in the Mad Ellie DLC, and you can get it from Nightmare Rifts. It has the Improbable here though, which makes it actually very interesting. So critical hits will give a stack of deduction that increases the next non-critical hit damage by 200% per stack. Non-critical hits will give a stack of observation, which gives the next critical hit 100% extra damage per stack. It's not listed here, but it can stack up to 5 times, and they last for 10 seconds. So yeah, this thing can be actually pretty much a beast, because what's nice about it is, I'm using an infinite crit build just to keep everything as consistent as possible, but you can get some non-crits and then your crits hit insanely hard, up to 1000% extra damage, and then if you're hitting a bunch of crits, your non-crits will then hit a bunch of extra damage. This ends up killing a lot quicker than the other two, despite them all being quite similar, as funny as it is. This thing is just a lot better in terms of the overall damage. Even when I'm just hit, like every single bullet there was a critical hit, and then I lost it there and had a pretty big spike. Where it wins over the other two is that it shoots a lot faster, like almost double as quick. This also has that same 108 critical hit damage modifier on the like best possible roll. So yeah, I'll go without the crits here, just so that whenever I get the crits popping, they end up doing a little bit more damage. If you're alternating between non-crits and crits, it can actually do some pretty cool stuff. So it's a powerful weapon, especially with that shotgun loader there. Yeah, you saw the big bursts of damage that we're getting. This thing just shoots a lot faster. It is a Jacob, so you have to keep clicking. You probably hear my mouse going wild here. But yeah, if you can get crits and then non-crits, it's going to do some pretty crazy damage. Again, all these sniper rifles are cross-playing as shotguns. It's pretty silly. So yeah, these three very similar to each other, but at least the last two are going to be very unique in their effects. And our number 2 spot is the Complex Root. This has a few different roles, and it's kind of interesting. It suffers the same thing as the Borstal Ballista, where you got to be a little bit further away from the enemies to get the most out of it. But it has a lot of cool roles. You can get a shotgun loader with Rippers and Jacobs. You can get the Atlas tracking darts, which is my preferred role on this with Ripper and Jacobs. And you can also get a Maliwan switcher. It can come with a variety of different roles though, and they're all pretty solid, but Tracker and Shotgun would be my top choices. So I'll first show this off in the shotgun version with the Ripper here. Yeah, you can see it's doing some pretty crazy damage. Further away, obviously, it just makes it a little bit more effective to use just because you're able to get those bullets to spread out a little bit more. This is even more noticeable when you're using the, like if you just have this going with the shotgun loader here, as just getting a lot of extra projectiles there. Pretty solid damage. If you're playing on console, it may end up causing your console to lag. I know some people reported that when I talked about it in builds, but yeah, it's a beast of a weapon. Very strong, and it's just because of all those extra projectiles. It hits large enemies more. And with the Atlas tracking dart, you want to try and get that near the head as much as possible, and then you can just rip away. And the fun thing about the Atlas tracking dart is that it's going to have all these projectiles home in on the target. On top of that, though, it's going to make it so that the ricochets go and hit the boss as well. So with the Jacob's roll on this, if you get the Atlas tracker darts, they don't last that long, but it does a pretty considerable amount of damage. And even without the shotgun loader, it's pretty good. The shotgun's a bit more consistent in its damage output, but the tracker dart is better for burst damage. So we just hit it in the head there, so we got all those extra projectiles, and I'm not elemental matching it here at all, but yeah, it's actually, I think he's stuck in the wall. So we'll hit him again here with that, the tracker darts. Now, there's some people that reported that this gun started to work a little bit differently after some updates, and I did notice this thing used to be a lot stronger. Oh, we had a really big burst of damage there. For whatever reason, it does have some strange oddities to it, so this is a gun that I feel like might have been changed with an update, like a shadow nerf or something. It's still very strong, though, and you want to try and get the tracker darts on the head if all possible. The ripper part's nice, but like if you don't get it off quickly, like you're wasting time on those tracker darts, but you can see it there. The reason that this is so good is the bullets will naturally pierce, so they're going through the enemy and they're going to be going around and spreading in a large area here. I think I slightly prefer the shotgun in certain situations, though, just because it's a little bit more consistent with its overall damage output, but both of them are pretty good. Oh, I switched into the shotgun. I put it in the sniper mode. There's a shotgun mode again. You can tell by the crazy amount of projectiles. The Ripper plus shotgun does cause a bit of lag here, so that is, again, something you want to keep in mind, but it's a strong weapon nonetheless. And finally, our #1 weapon, the Stray by Ripper here. This thing is so good. Basically what happens is, as you're attacking, 2 extra bullets are going to home in on nearby targets. So this is the lazy dad gamer weapon because you can just sit on the couch, relax, and farm with this because those bullets are hunting down enemies for you. But what's best about this is it's got a huge amount of damage, and with the highest critical hit, it's only going to be 50% extra damage, but the bullets themselves do a lot. It's shooting off 3 of them. It's got Jacobs and Ripper. Another thing is you can get the underbarrel that increases the damage the enemy takes by 35%. If you can find that roll, it buffs so many other builds in this game because any extra damage the enemy takes from an underbarrel is amazing. I should also mention previously I had #1, the Katagawa's Revenge. This thing got nerfed pretty hard. It used to do some insane stuff with like Neutron Capture Harlow, which got nerfed. It's still good with like Gloam to Glow Cash. Like again, some of these weapons are good with specific builds, but it did fall off. But back to the Stray. It also comes with all elements, so you can get a different version of it. It will reduce the base damage, like this one is the cryo version versus mine here, which is just regular 24k DPS versus the 15. But it's those extra bullets that are just so good. Now, you're going to notice like the damage, it may not kill as quickly as some of the other setups in here, but the nice thing is you don't have to think about it. It's just going to make it easy on you to just be able to take down bosses quickly. Like you can like shoot off to the side and those bullets, they're just going and killing all the mobs there. But you see what I mean? Where you're aiming is roughly where those bullets are going to go. It's just an easy weapon because you can just hang out and just have this thing fire off with a Ripper part and just, you know, clear out everything. It always comes with Ripper, I should mention. But what's great about this too is those extra bullets just allow, like for example, the confirmative reality feat that Harlow has. It stacks that really quickly because you're essentially hitting a target 3 times with a gun. It also is great with Gloam to Glow Cash because those bullets all take the extra damage. But yeah, this weapon, it's straightforward, simple sniper that makes it easy for you. It takes care of mobbing, it takes care of bossing. Everything about this thing is really nice. Now, complex route would be a little bit better against large bosses than this, but you can still get by with using this. And as mentioned, like Gloam to Glow Cash takes great advantage of it. It's just powerful. Having 3 bullets hit a target, obviously 3 is better than 1, so that makes this very good. And there is, again, I just want to mention that Bloodshot Vex does use a lot of these snipers a lot differently because she's adding her full health bar to it, but the Stray is a beast. And I guess closing thoughts, if you want a sniper rifle that's very powerful, like there's a lot of order snipers in this game, they just don't do the same damage that the Crow sourced assault rifle does. So if you're looking for like a sniper, like a traditional sniper rifle, heavy damage, the order Crow source is insanely good because it's going to have those 5 projectiles charge up, and then that single, it counts as a single projectile. So if you have amp, it gives that 200% damage on top of that. So if you're looking for like a traditional sniper, it's a Crow source assault rifle, unfortunately. But the Stray, complex route, all the snipers mentioned in this video are pretty solid in general. But let me know your thoughts though in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I hope you guys all have a great day. We'll catch you in the next one.